peacekeeping. We've had a very long history where Nigeria has given of herself, and Nigeria has benefited as well from peacekeeping. Mr. Speaker, for the United Nations, Nigeria has several considerations as to why it is very important for us to continue to be part of the United Nations peacekeeping body. One of them is the political rationale behind it. Now, Mr. Speaker, our political rationale states that part of Nigeria's constitution is within our foreign policy objectives is global peace. And of course, we believe that as a country, that it is our responsibility, and this is one of the very few ways in which we can contribute to global peace. But also, Mr. Speaker, and this answers directly to the Deputy Speaker's concerns, that for as long as Nigeria continues to be very visible around the world, United Nations peacekeeping, it gives us the opportunity within the United Nations to actually legitimately vie for a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. Now, that is one of the things that Nigeria, that incentivizes us as a country to continue to go into this peacekeeping efforts. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, for us as a country, yes, again, the Deputy Speaker spoke about us being the big brother of Africa, but that is our normative policy. We believe that a country as big as Nigeria, and you know, in global politics, might is right. And if Nigeria has taken on that position, then it is our responsibility to ensure that we continue to be strong within the sub-region as well as the region. For the longest time, Nigeria was a global power. But Nigeria, because of dwindling resources, because of the fact that we have a military that unfortunately is getting weaker because of our own internal security problems, Nigeria's position has started to move from a global power to a regional power. And some people, of course, insultingly refer to us as a sub-regional power. So I think that this is also one of the things that we need to do. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, sir, the truth of the matter is that there are so many issues that have weakened our United Nations peacekeeping presence around the world. Nigeria at the time used to be number 4. We were between number 2 and number 4 in the world with regards to professionalism, equipment, the ability for us to enforce peace and to keep peace. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, so countries like Senegal, even on the sub-region, are overtaking us. Now, what this bill seeks to do is that Nigeria has spent over time over $10 billion only in within ECOMOG. We spent about $10 million trying to keep the peace there. But only in one operation for the United Nations, the reimbursement to our country was $798 million. Now, for us, it's important, and I know that we do not know how those monies were spent. I do not know what we did with the accruals to Nigeria. And the reason for that, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that there's little public scrutiny and there's very little conversations about the United Nations and what happens within the United Nations. This House passed a bill on more innovative ways of funding our military. We recognize that we need a military, that we cannot do intra-budgetary funding for our military, and that we're going to have to look for innovative ways to fund our militaries. A lot of the countries in Africa use these monies that are given to them as reimbursements from the United Nations to fund their militaries. But what he's seeking to do is for us to have some kind of legal framework that opens up the expenditure for the peacekeeping operations as well as the accruals for the peacekeeping operations so that we know how much we're spending, put it against how much is coming to us, and decide whether indeed this is another means that we want to use to fund our military to give us the military that we deserve. My dear colleagues, added to everything else that has been said, I think that this one will come up with very innovative means. It opens up that very closed area that nobody ever talks to and gives us the opportunity to look to scrutinize the budgets, the accruals, and the expenditure on this, so that as Parliament, it is not a place that is no-go to us and we're not blind to. So I'd urge my colleagues to please support this motion so that we can equip our military, open up to scrutiny, and understand exactly what it is that we spend and what it is that comes back to us, and how we can strengthen our military so that we can have a stronger military that is more desirable around the world, so that we can also get more money coming back to us. I so submit.